Good morning, everyone. Good day, sunshine. It's cloudy here, but we know the sun's behind those clouds. Good morning and welcome to First Parish Brewster. We are a Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregation of people of diverse philosophies and beliefs, people of various cultures and races, sexual orientations, gender identities, abilities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your path, may this be a place of rest and restoration on your journey. For those of you who may be first-time visitors this morning, welcome. Welcome on this morning, which we make sacred by our presence together. If you're visiting, please let us know in the chat box. And a big welcome to people calling in. We're so glad you're here. I'm Reverend Jessica Clay, the minister of First Parish Brewster. Happy to be welcoming you to this service this morning with our music director, Donica Buckley, and First Parish Brewster member, Karen Whitting, on tech this morning. Closed captioning is available. You just need to turn it on in your taskbar. And our chat box will be turned off after Joys and Concerns and turned back on at the end of the service. We do hope you join us next Sunday. Next Sunday is going to be a very special Sunday led by Twinks Hastings and our adult coming of age participants. So many of you have seen our youth coming of age, but Twinks offered an adult coming of age last fall, and many of them wanted to share their credos with you. So please do join us next Sunday for this very special service. So ends our announcements this morning. Welcome to worship. It is so good to be together. And now I invite you, if you have a chalice nearby, to get it for our chalice lighting. I see some of you are getting it, so I'll give you a second. Let's take a breath together. Our chalice lighting this morning is The Pride Flame by Linda Lee Franson. We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens, the shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who gather on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace, for those who have fought to marry, that they may celebrate, for those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame. Our opening hymn this morning is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, sung by our choir. You're invited to join in.
When our heart is in a holy place. other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
We come to this space knowing that our heart is in many different places, but this space is a holy space when we gather together and we bring all that we are carrying and we share it, some of it, with each other. We will now enter a time of silence, followed by a prayer, and then Spirit of Life. Will you join me in some silence? I invite you to settle into wherever you're seated, or if you're standing, to just take a pause for a moment. Check in with your body. Notice if any areas in your body are carrying tension. Maybe is your jaw clenched? Maybe relax your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Notice if your hands are closed tightly, or maybe you can relax them a little bit. Notice if your stomach is relaxed, and just sit in silence for a moment. Our prayer this morning is titled In the Silence by Reverend Sarah Eileen Lawal. Spirit of life and love, in the silence, in the stillness, we hear the call of our own heart, its tender dreams, its sorrows and its triumphs. In the silence, in the stillness, we hear whispers of days gone by, of dreams still becoming, the promise of the future. We celebrate together our individual journeys and dreams, and our collective ones, knowing the journey is so much richer with others to share in it. In the name of all that is holy, we pray. Amen. A reading from Enfleshed. Litany for Becoming. To become is a lifelong process. Nothing is constant, not even the self. We evolve in the midst of narratives meant only for some, and ways of being made narrow by fear and power. We must then have the courage to listen to the truth of our own lives, to the wisdom that comes from within, responding without resistance or need to control, but with welcome and curiosity. This is what ensures our becoming is an unfolding of our truest self. This lifelong labor cannot be carried out alone. It requires help from friends and lovers, family and creaturely companions who bear witness to what makes us come alive and say to us, listen, look, feel, pay attention to that. This is loving and being loved. Telling the stories, sharing in the memories, giving thanks for the relationships, understandings, and experiences past that have shaped us to this day. This is loving and being loved. Celebrating new beginnings that excite, holding risks together, leaning into unknowns with the promises of support and companionship. This is loving and being loved. Listening to the future calling uniquely to each of us in the midst of all of life's noise. Helping one another to find our place in the shared labor of collective life. Supporting each other in what is the world's ache asking from us. Let me read that line again. Supporting each other in what It is the world's ache is asking from us. This is loving and being loved. To say for the first time, this is who I am. This is the truth of my body. This is what I know about myself. This is my name, and this is where my path is leading me. And have it heard, have it received, have it affirmed, and then to say it again and again as we change and as the world changes, and to have each proclamation greeted with an open-armed embrace. This is loving and being loved. There is no me without you. We shape one another. The sacred that births us weaves our lives together so that we can only find ourselves through shared becoming. For my journey and all its winding ways, for yours, for all the saints who labored for what is, all the kin whose lives made ours possible, for all those yet to come for whom living our truths today will mean breaking possibilities open for them tomorrow. We pause, we give thanks, we acknowledge. This is loving and being loved.
Who I am today will not be who I am tomorrow, and who I am tomorrow will keep changing every day. And all the things I learned might fill my heart with joy or sorrow, and everything I learned might make me want to change my ways. Oh, there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me. The family you were raised in does not dictate who you marry. The country you were born in won't decide where you are buried, and all you once believed might leave you stranded on an island where the only way back home is to abandon it as lies. And there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows where their lives will lead, what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me, becoming me. I must stay open to the change, curious and free, and always ready to be rearranged. There is nothing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing that life does what course their life will take, and no one knows who I will be as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming.
Now is the time in the service where we collect for our split plate. Each week we have the practice of taking an offertory during our Sunday service, with half of the money collected going to the work of the church and half going to a worthy organization or fund. Today, the split plate, half of it is going to the UUA's, Unitarian Universalist Association's Living Tradition Fund. The Living Tradition Fund provides financial assistance to seminarians, religious professionals, congregational staff, ministers, and retired ministers and their loved ones. The fund provides 3 types of support for ministry: need-based scholarships for theological students, new minister assistance to reduce the burden of high educational debt and repayment, emergency assistance grants to seminarians, ministers, religious professionals, and other congregational staff, retired ministers, and their loved ones. So that was a lot of words telling you about this fund, but if you have ever attended worship at General Assembly, there is usually an impassioned plea from a minister or religious professional telling you of the difference that this fund has made in their lives. Many ministers graduate, and other religious professionals graduate with a large amount of educational debt and go to serve congregations and are trying to support their families on incomes that means that emergency medical expenses, emergency things that come up, they don't have a cushion to fall back on. And things like this fund make it so that this whole faith helps to support them, and all they have to do is call the person who manages this fund and they will have a check written to them. So this fund makes a difference in Unitarian Universalist religious professionals' lives. Today, we ask you to give generously if you are able. There's a couple ways you can give. You can text to give. The number will be posted in the chat box. You can go to our website, fpbuu.org, and give, or you can mail a check to the office indicating that it is for the split plate on April 11th and make it out to First Parish Brewster. However you choose to give, we give thanks for your generosity today. The offertory will now be gratefully received.
So you have a friend named Danny, and his pronoun is he. But for years you've been accustomed to refer to him as she. And you wanna get it right, but routine is set in stone. So you practice his new pronoun loud and clear when you're alone. This is my friend, his name is Danny. He himself is a friend of mine. I'm so glad to be a friend of his. Both he and I are fine. So you have a friend named S, and their pronoun is they. And maybe you're not used to thinking of them in that way, and you want to get it right in the flesh and on the phone. So you practice their new pronoun loud and clear when you're alone. This is my friend, their name is S. They themselves are a friend of mine. I'm so glad to to be a friend of theirs. Both they and I are fine. You don't want to hurt your friends or imply that they're pretenders, so be sure to use the pronouns that reflect their proper genders. Habits may die hard, but that's not a dispensation. To make some brand new habits, all you need is acclamation. So you have a friend named Gull, and her pronoun is Z, which may be a fresh addition to your vocabulary. And you want to get it right in New York or in Bayonne. So you practice hear new pronouns loud and clear when you're alone. This is my friend, your name is Gall. Z herself is a friend of mine. I'm so glad to be a friend of yours. Both Z and I are fine. All you need is practice and you'll get it in the end. And surely that is worth it if you wanna be a friend.
Many thanks to the Double Clicks who gave us permission to use that in our worship today. A reading from Madeleine L'Engle's book, A Wind in the Door. I name you Ecthroy. I name you Meg. I name you Calvin. I name you Mr. Jenkins. I name you Proganowskis. I fill you with naming. Be butterfly and behemoth. Be galaxy and grasshopper, star and sparrow. You matter, you are. Be caterpillar and comet. Be porcupine and planet. Sea, sand and solar system. Sing with us, dance with us, rejoice with us for the glory of creation. Seagulls and seraphim, angel worms and angel host, chrysanthemum and cherubim, oh cherubim. Be, sing for the glory of the living and the loving, the flaming of creation. Sing with us, dance with us, be with us. Be. The previous reading was from Madeleine L'Engle's book, A Wind in the Door. A Wind in the Door follows her popular book, A Wrinkle in Time. Many of you may have read this as a child. I certainly did. In this book, A Wind in the Door, we find the Murray family who unexpectedly end up facing the Ecthroi, or the Unnamers. The Unnamers are seeking to destroy the universe by taking the names away from things, by destroying them. In destroying by unnaming, these people lose their identity. In the book, each family member figures out who they are through this process and how the love that holds them together helps them to keep their identities and encourages others to do the same. This family comes together to demonstrate the power of love in naming. So the previous passage that I just read found Meg, the oldest daughter, realizing that she had the power to name things in the universe, that she was a namer. And by naming things, she was able to help them in their process of becoming, help them to regain their identities, help them to become who they were fully meant to be, and help to counteract the power of the Ecthroi, or the Unnamers. Madeleine L'Engle's books teach us about the power of love, about how love can help heal wounds, how love can help bridge the gap between that which separates us. This month, our theme is becoming. Today, I invite you to think about the power of naming and the place it has in our lives, because the power of naming happens in community. It reminds us of our interdependence with each other. It reminds us of what it feels like to be seen and how we are all responsible for caring for one another. Many of you can tell a story of being changed by being a part of this community. For some, your only experience of this community has been through Zoom rooms. And it begins from the minute you join this Zoom room. However your name shows up on the screen, that's how we come to know you. Some of you we're getting to know through your phone number. Some of you we're getting to know through, maybe it says iPad or iPhone, and others have your name on the screen. Sometimes I change your names from iPad so that people will recognize you when we're together again. Sometimes Karina does that as well. We try to have our correct names in there so that when you type in joys and concerns, we can see who is holding which concern and which joy. And this time of online worship will impact how we are together in the future. Many of you have spent small coffee hour breakouts in rooms with people you wouldn't naturally gravitate towards. Yet, because of these online services, you're thrust in with a group that you cannot choose, and you've gotten to know different people as a result of that. You've also gotten to know people during this time from all the different reflections that we've been sharing in services. So when we're together in person, there are many of you who have gotten to know people just within the screen that will be naming and seeing each other in person in a whole new way. It will be a process of becoming in relationship together. I'm sure many of you look forward to that day, as do I. This faith, this religious life encourages us to tap into that deep well of goodness that is within every single person and encourages us to fully become who we were meant to be. And you might have come to this congregation and thought, I'm a fully formed human being, but I'll tell you, when you serve on a committee with people, you're going to learn things about yourself that you didn't know before. Some things will be validated, other things will be challenged. And some of you choose to join our covenant groups, which is small group ministries. And when you spend 8 or 9 months meeting in small groups, discussing themes like becoming with people, doing deep listening with people, you will learn more about those people and about yourself in the process. We never reach the point where we have fully become, possibly it happens right when we die. But it's a sacred thing that happens when people are in covenantal relationship together and continue to say yes to each other in this community, to the process of becoming together. I know that for many of our LGBTQIA members, this church was the first place that they could be out. And still, for some members who are trans or genderqueer, this congregation is the first place where they feel comfortable changing their pronouns and claiming who they are in the world. And we all come to this community, this place, wanting to be seen, even those of you who sit in the very back of worship. Even those of you with your cameras off right now. When we're in person in our sanctuary, there is a joy to being seen and acknowledged with one another, especially if we are at vulnerable points in our lives. And our first moment of naming is when we enter our sanctuary. We get our name tags and we greet each other. Yet if someone comes in with a non-Western sounding name, that first moment of welcome can be an opportunity for microaggressions and harm. Journalist Noor Wazwaz recently did a podcast for NPR on why pronouncing names correctly is more than a common courtesy. She says it's far more than just the syllables that come out of someone's mouth. It's an important effort to create an inclusive society, a way to emphasize safety and belonging. What is church if not a place for safety and belonging? In this podcast, Noor Wazwaz interviews Ruchika Tulsyan, who wrote an article for the Harvard Business Review last year about the importance of pronouncing people's names correctly. but we're so afraid of messing up. Sometimes we just won't ask people how to pronounce people's names again, so we'll just keep mispronouncing it. In this podcast, both journalists said that they had changed their names at different points in their lives to more Western sounding names in order to assimilate more in society. But each of them reached the point where they were tired of doing that. Therefore, this is anti-racism work too. When you see the ways that white supremacy shows up in society, and you say, well, what can I do? This is something that you can do actively on a daily basis. If you're struggling to pronounce someone's name, take the time to learn it, to pronounce it correctly. Don't just brush over your feelings of shame or frustration that it's not a Western sounding name. Really take time to know it because it matters. It matters, and it helps people to feel seen and respected. Ruchika Tulsyan was asked, well, what do you do if you've only seen someone's name written down or you've only heard it quickly pronounced once? And she says, just be honest, saying, can you pronounce your name for me, please? Or how do you pronounce your name? She says that whenever she's had someone ask her that, she feels so much better than when someone attempts it, gets it wrong, and then turns it into this whole thing where she ends up trying to make them feel better. She also continued and said it doesn't have to turn into, oh, that's such an interesting name. That's so exotic. That's so beautiful. That's so different. What you're saying is your name doesn't sound white like the norms that I'm used to. She says it's even more otherizing to say that to her. So her recommendation is just a direct approach. How do I pronounce it? Thank you for pronouncing it for me. You might be wondering, why is Reverend Jessica going so deep into naming today? And I'm going to show you a picture. So many of you recognize this person. This is Maureen Osborne, a member of our membership committee. And what do you notice that Maureen is wearing? I'm scrolling through. I don't see anyone saying it yet. Okay, I saw some verbals. A name tag. Does that look like our regular name tags? No, it doesn't. These are our new name tags that the membership committee is ordering for us. So take a little look at it. So the membership committee has taken on this mass ordering of name tags for every member of this congregation, so that when we gather in person, we will have these permanent name tags. If you are a member, even if you live in another state, you will have a name tag waiting here for you. Even if you visit once a year or you never visit or you're only online, you will still have a name tag in the building waiting for you. And this is a chance for us to really get to know each other through this initial naming, to practice using each other's correct names to help each other in the process of being seen and welcomed in this community, to practice pronouncing each other's names correctly. The other important part of this is that the name tag, I'm going to share it to you one more time. If you're sending me chats in the chat box, I cannot read them and preach at the same time, just to let you know. But the other part of this name tag that's so important, which is right below Maureen's name, is her pronouns are on that name tag. So by using our name tags and wearing our name tags, we help to make this a place of welcome. We affirm that you are welcome here. We want to know what pronouns you use in the world so that we can have those name tags be identifying you correctly. And this encourages us to a practice of recognizing that sometimes people's pronouns do not match the gender binary that many of us have been raised in. But we want to make this a welcoming congregation. We are a welcoming congregation, and this is part of that. Therefore, in the next couple of months, you are going to be asked by the membership committee to fill out your pronouns, whether on Breeze. If you are familiar with Breeze, you could go do it today and update your profile. Take a little look, update your phone number and address if any of that's changed as well. Or they may be asking on another form, so stay tuned for that so that they can order these name tags. And you might be thinking, I just don't care. People can call me whatever. But that's a position of privilege because people who do not conform to the gender binary, who are genderqueer or agender or anything else, don't have that privilege. And every time we misgender them, we're saying, I don't see you and you're not welcome here. Remember, your intent can be good, but the impact still causes harm. And so you might be thinking that was my intent, but I've preached on so many times the intent of our words doesn't matter when the impact causes harm. Therefore, pronouncing people's names correctly and using the correct pronouns for people goes a long way towards saying you are welcome here in your full self. It says, I see you. It goes a long way towards recognizing that we are all interdependent with love holding us together, and that we can all grow and change together in the service of love and welcoming community, in the service of countering oppressions and working to dismantle the system of white supremacy that controls so much of our narrative. And some of you remember, I've preached on the importance of pronouns before, and many of you rushed out of that service to put pronoun stickers on your previous name tags. So I hope that when you see that ask from the membership committee, you will fill out the forms or possibly go today and update your Breeze profile and let them know what your pronouns are for these new name tags. We do this in the service of welcome. We do this in the service of saying you are welcome here as your full self, however you present. That your identity is welcome here, even if it is not recognized in mainstream society. We do this as an act of love. We do this because we are interconnected and interrelated, and we know the power of naming and being seen in sacred community. And when we make a mistake, when we use the wrong pronoun, when we mispronounce, we apologize and move on, vowing to do better in the future. We do not let our conflict avoidance prohibit us from being in relationship with each other. Madeleine L'Engle says, the secrets of the atom are not unlike Pandora's box. And what we must look for is not the destructive power, but the vision of interrelatedness that is desperately needed on this fragmented planet. We are indeed a part of the universe. We belong to each other. The fall of every sparrow is noted. Every tear we shed is collected in the Creator's bottle. End quote. We belong to each other. In the process of being a part of this community and pronouncing each other's names correctly, in using the correct pronouns, we say, you are welcome here. You are beloved, and we belong to each other. Naming and being named, a holy, welcoming act each time. Amen. So I invite you to change your view to gallery view. If you're not on a phone or an iPad, if you're on a phone or an iPad, I don't think you can do gallery view, but if you're on a computer, I invite you to do gallery view so you can look at some of the names of the people who are here with us this morning. Envisioning that day when we will be able to greet each other in person. Envisioning that day when we can see each other and name and be named, see and be seen. An easy way you could practice your pronoun, using your pronouns, is to put them on your name, on your Zoom room in the future as well, as you can see on mine. So I invite you, if you have a lit chalice, to hold it up. We extinguish this chalice, but not its light, that we take with us out into the world. We take with us that power of becoming, remembering that we are interrelated and interdependent, sacred and beautiful, and we need each other in this. Thank you for joining us for worship this morning.